Welcome back to another weekly Forex analysis. This week, I'll walk you through the highest probability break and retest setups I'm watching across the major currency pairs using top-down analysis and price action. I will show you the key levels on my charts, the conditions I'm waiting for before entering a trade, and the setup with the best potential. Remember, wait for the break, confirm the retest, trade with confidence. Let's go. So this week I'll be starting off with Euro CHF. So Euro CHF have an interesting one and one of my favorite pattern, which is the head and shoulder. Left head, right shoulder. So we have the break, the retest to sell. So we'll wait for the retest here to sell. So price actually did something like that in the past. Left head, right shoulder, the break. On this retest, there was no slowdown to sell. Rather, price broke it and gave another ginormous bearish candle. So hopefully we have a retest on this. We have a rejection on this neckline before we do the selling down, because the weekly time frame is bearish, daily time frame is bearish, and forward time frame is bearish. So all time frame are going down, which set up high probability of this trade, and I love this trade so much. So this is how the weekly time frame is. The weekly time frame is bearish and rejected this zone here. So and the daily is also bearish. So if when the daily pulls back to this zone, it will reject this round psychological level and more other confluences to take the trade to the downside. So that is that. So moving on to the next pairs, we have CAD JPY. So CAD JPY, we're waiting for the pullback to this zone. Hopefully happen this week to this zone, although I was looking to sell from here last week and price hit my stop loss and reacted off of this zone. So price is now also is bearish, also is bearish. This is a lower low, this is a lower high. So I'm waiting for a pullback to this place to candle to body close inside this zone before I even think of entering the trade. So and you can see all the time frame are going down also. Bearish, weekly bearish, daily bearish, 4-hour bearish. So this is the weekly. I normally start my top down analysis from the weekly. So this is the weekly. The weekly is bearish, lower low and lower high. So more like continuation of the lower low leg on the weekly time frame. So the daily time frame will have the retest of this zone before we have the sell to the downside. So that is that. And Euro JPY is another interesting trade. So interesting. So last week I misanalyzed this trade, and this week now it has gone back to bullish. I wanted to sell last week, which is not ideal. So this week now have broke structure and came back to retest, but price is under this zone. You see, whenever we are under the zone we sell, whenever we are under we sell, serve as resistance. Whenever we are under we sell, whenever we are under we sell, whenever we are above we buy, whenever we are above we buy. So now price is currently under. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a Monday candle to open and close above. So Tuesday candle will have a weak retest. This something like this. We have a weak retest. We have a weak retest like this to this place. So that is when I will now look for the buy to the upside. And you can see the weekly time frame, all the old time frame are bullish heading to the upside. So this is how the weekly look like. This is the higher high and this is the higher low. So now we have this more like inverted hammer. So I'm anticipating for this candle, for this week candle to fill this to create a new higher high, hopefully. So on the daily time frame, you can see we are also bullish. So if the next day candle should open and body close there, the Tuesday candle, more like weekly test before we continue the buy. So but on the 4-hour time frame, will right now the 4-hour time frame is bearish, so we'll have the break more like a retest. So the 4-hour time frame, if when that daily candle open and go up more like a bullish candle, so the 4-hour time frame will turn bullish. So on this retest to be on the Tuesday, that week retest to continue the trade to the upside. So hopefully, fingers crossed, let's see what this market will play out. Then my entry will be on the lower time frame. So that is that. And the next pair is NZD-CHF. So NZD-CHF on the weekly time frame, see the weekly time frame, we are clearly bearish on the weekly time frame. Let me draw the structure so that you see. Lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay, this one body close this place, making this place lower low, lower high, lower low. So this candle body close up, making this higher high, higher low, higher high. So this one is market structure. So this now become the lower low. So this is how the markets look. Hope it's clear. So this is how the market looks. So this is the higher lower high and this is the lower low. So whatever market do in between this place here, in between this zone, whatever market do in between this zone is market structure. So now we've kind of approached this zone, but not a strong retest, not a strong retest. We broke this zone, kind of approach, not a strong retest. So but it's not looking clear here. But if we go down to the daily time frame, the daily time frame, this zone is a very strong zone. So you see we are also bearish on the daily time frame. So if we approach this zone, when we approach this zone, and we actually do, but this is not a clear retest. So I'm waiting for a clear retest of this zone before I take the trade to the downside. So as you see, this zone has been respected multiple times in the past. You see serve as support, yes, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. So the very strong zone. So what I'm looking for price to still do what it have done in the past. So to come back to this place, retest here, retest of um retest of other things here, more confluences to take the trade to the downside. So that is what I'm looking out for on NZD-CHF. So the next one is Euro NZD. Euro NZD on the weekly time frame, we are clearly bullish on the weekly time frame. This is the higher high and this is the higher low. So last week candle retrace back to this place, to this zone here, not a clear zone on the weekly time frame. But if we go down to the daily time frame, we'll see that is a clear area of interest. Whenever we are under, we push down. Whenever we are under, we push down. See, whenever we are under, we push down. We serve as resistance. So now price has broken above come back to retest it to have the push to the upside. So when the last time price came back here, it did not, when it stopped and the next candle broke it, it did not respect this zone. So hopefully it respects here. If it did not respect here, if we don't have a rejection candle here to take the trade to the upside, then I'll wait for it here. Once it come here, either way, here or here, then I'll look for the buy to the upside, because the weekly time frame is bullish and the daily time frame is bullish. 4 hour is bearish, and the way I trade, I normally make sure that 2 time frame must be in sync, so which is exactly what we have here, weekly and daily. And higher time frame always respects structure more than lower time frame. So that is that. And if you see the 4 hour time frame is currently bearish, lower low, lower high. So the daily time frame is what I'm waiting for a rejection to take the trade to the upside. So the next one is Euro CHF, USD CHF. So USD CHF on the weekly time frame, we are bullish on the weekly time frame. So, and bullish on the weekly time frame, and we kind of have an inverted head and shoulder here. So I don't know if you are seeing it, more like a big right shoulder, a big left shoulder, then head, then right shoulder. So kind of have the break. So we are coming to retest this zone to have the push to the upside, or you can still use here as the left shoulder. Either way it's still valid. So something like this. So we already have the break, so coming back to retest this zone before we have the push to the upside on the weekly time frame. So weekly has already come back to this place, so anticipating this week candle to fail, or what is I've done in the past when price came back to this zone. When price came to this zone, it have more like a stop before the next week we have the push, a stop, the next week we have the push. So it's likely to happen here. So this week will more like have a doji candle, so next week we have the push. But if I have a clean rejection candle on the daily time frame, so you see daily time frame is not fully at the area of interest, but we already have a rejection here. So if I have more rejection, then I'll take the trade to the upside. So that is how this one is setting up, and we see the weekly and the daily is bullish. So 4 hour is bearish. If we go down to the 4 hour, you see that the 4 hour is bearish. So that is that. So moving on to NZD USD. If you check the watch list, you see that I have up to 9 pairs I'm looking out for to trade this week. I'm not looking to take all of the trade. I'm just setting up my traps so that I'll be able to take the best trade out of all of the 9. So if any of the first one I take, if the first one I take hits stop loss, then the second one must be a perfect 8 plus setup before I take it. If not, I'm done for the week. Maximum of 2 trades per week. Not as if I have to take all these trades at once. No. So NZD is a trade I took, and took my TP here, which is ideal. I'm not mad that I did not held to this place 1:4, because this is my ideal TP next structure point, which price which price normally which price have rejected in the past. So if you check, price have rejected this zone in the past, so more likely to do it again. So that is why I took my profit there. So but this week now we are looking to continue the sell to the downside. So if I have a clear bearish engulfing candle on Monday, then on Tuesday I have the week retest to have the short sell to the downside, quick 1:2. But if price get to this place, also good, something like this, also good. So have the rejection from this place, then the EMA will come back and serve as more confluence, as resistance also to push the trade to the downside. So that is what I'm looking out for on NZD/USD, and all the time frame are bearish. You see, this is the lower low and this is the lower high on the 4 hour. So if the 4 hour, if the Monday candle want to have the break, it will more like this, more like something like this before I take the trade to the downside. So that is what I'm waiting out for. So let's go to the next pair. Next pair is AUD card. So AUD card is a very logical trade. Very logical. Very logical. Sometimes I see this and I can't really comprehend how all this happen in the market. So first of all, we are bearish on the weekly time frame. You see, yes, we are bearish on the weekly time frame. You see, this is the lower low and this is the lower high. So price have retraced back to this zone, not clear on the weekly, but if you go down to the daily time frame, the daily time frame is also bearish. This is the lower low, this is the lower high. So I was looking to sell this trade from here, so but price did not respect this zone, broke it, came back, have a retest, have now coming back to retest it. Hopefully we get more rejection candle to take the trade to the downside is what I'm looking for. So now when I was analyzing this, that's when I saw this and I drew it out. You see, this is exactly what market did here. You see, we higher high, we come back, we did not body close to create new higher low, we go up to this above this area of interest, retest it, we have the push. Okay, the same thing here, lower low, we go up, we did not break to create a new higher high, we come back, retest it, hopefully rejection, we have the push. And you can see the pattern looks so identical. You see, the pattern looks so identical, so now we are waiting for this push to the downside. So the weekly and the daily are bearish, but the 4 hour is bullish, which is not that important. You see, 4 hour is bullish, this is the higher high, this is the higher low. So waiting for rejection to have the sell to the downside. So the last but not the least, GPPJPY on the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame, we are bullish on the weekly time frame. So we are bullish on the weekly time frame. So more like almost creating higher high on the weekly time frame, but there is high probability of this week candle to open, have a week like this, then then have a candlestick open like this to create a new higher high. Sorry for my drawing. So my candlestick like this to create a new higher high. So this one is supposed to be at the middle, so I don't know, it's supposed to be at the middle, but to create a new higher high. So that's what I'm anticipating. So when price come to this place, it will have a retest of to pull back to the daily time frame before we have the push to the upside. So this is how it look like on the daily time frame. So the daily time frame, you see we are at more like at a high, but kind of having the retracement to this place. So we have the retracement here, then we have the push to the upside. Yes, it can happen, so fingers crossed. Nothing is impossible in the market. It can happen, but I'm not guessing. You see that I'm not guessing. I'm actually waiting for it to come to this place, give me rejection, meet all my criteria before I take it up. I'm not guessing that maybe it will come here, and once it come here I will just place and take. No, it will meet my criteria before I take it up. If it doesn't meet my criteria, I will just leave it without even thinking it even existed. So, and some of you guys, that's part of the mistake you do. Once you take your time, like this weekly analysis now, once you take your time, market close right now, so once you take your time and analyze pairs, and maybe when price get to this place, you feel temptation, you feel tempted to take the trade to the upside because of the time you wasted and time you put in to the analysis. That is not how it works. Patience is also a strategy in forex markets. Not only forex, in all currencies markets. So that is that. So once price come to this place, I'll wait for rejection to take the trade to the upside. So you see the daily time, let me show you something. The daily time frame is bullish. So you see this bearish candle started the pullback on the 4-hour time frame, and this other daily bullish candle is a pullback on the 4-hour time frame to create the low potential lower high leg. Let me show you. So see now, the 4-hour time frame, you see that daily candle, that bearish candle, you see we were higher high here and we were higher low here. So because of this breakdown, because of that daily candle that broke down, that bearish candle make it lower low and lower high. So that pullback, that other day pullback, the next day pullback, which is Friday pullback, created the potential higher lower high, created the potential lower high. So there's more likely for price to reject this zone, which is has done in the past, to reject this zone and sell to this place. So it will now do something like this before it now buy to the upside. So it's not rocket science. It has market have done it in the past. You see, it has done it in the past, rejected this zone, rejected this place. So whenever we are under, reject down. So it's more likely to do it again. But I'm not interested in this trade, in this counter trend thing. So this is more like a trading against the higher time frame trend. I'm not interested in this. So when price get to this place, that is when I'll look for my entry to take the trade to the upside. Whoa, so that is that. Such an interesting week to look out for. So let me organize it to the one that is more closer to the area of interest. um so this is this CHF. This one should be number one. That should be number one. UDPY. The next day, okay. UDPY. Before, okay. I'll take the JPY here. So this one too, more like this one. To USD. They're waiting for detection to be here. JPY before pullback. So this one is already at the area of interest, waiting for rejection to buy. At the area of interest, waiting for rejection to buy. So at the area of interest, kind of, but waiting for more like a rejection also to buy. So at the area of interest, also waiting for more like a rejection to buy also. So this one we need the pullback to the area of interest. Clean 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 pullback to the area of interest. So that is that, and let me know in the comment section which pair you are actually looking out for, and what you think about this analysis. And during the week I'll be posting any potential trade, anyone I take, anyone that set up perfectly. I'll be posting it on this channel. So if you don't want to miss out, like and subscribe. Also don't forget to share. So see you guys.